A sweeping new immigration law just passed, and one overlooked detail could instantly put green card holders at risk if they're not paying attention. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to U.S. Pension Insight. I'm Michael Harris. What I'm about to explain is not speculation and it's not political noise. A newly approved immigration reform has sent shockwaves through immigrant communities across the country. Whether you have lived in the United States for decades, arrived more recently, or still have loved ones waiting for legal entry, this is a moment that cannot be ignored. Congress has finally acted on immigration after years of debate. While parts of this law bring long-awaited reform and new opportunity, there is also a strict provision that could dramatically change life for anyone who is not a United States citizen. Green card holders need to pay close attention because under this law, even permanent residents are no longer fully shielded. This reform is being described as historic for several reasons. For the first time in many years, Democrats and Republicans worked together to pass a massive immigration overhaul, while Donald Trump is once again in the White House. Very few people expected that level of cooperation, and even fewer expected the rules inside the bill to be this firm. What has surprised many families most is how a single mistake, something as common as a driving under the influence offense, can now become a life-altering event that puts everything at risk. This conversation affects millions of households and could change the future many immigrants believed they were building in America. Now that we've opened the door to this topic, it's important to slow down and go through the details carefully. This isn't about fear, it's about clarity. When laws shift this dramatically, the best protection you have is understanding what they mean, how they are enforced, and what steps you can take to protect yourself and your family. So let's walk through this reform piece by piece. One of the first major changes is something many immigrants did not anticipate. Under the new law, anyone who is not a citizen is officially classified as a non-citizen. That label may sound minor, but it carries serious consequences. In the past, green card holders were treated differently from other immigrants. They had greater stability, broader rights, and a sense of long-term security. Under this reform, that distinction has been largely removed. Green card holders are now placed on the same level as temporary visa holders, international students, and workers who have not yet naturalized. This shift matters because it allows the federal government to apply stricter standards across the board without carving out exceptions. For years, many permanent residents believed their green card functioned as a safety net, something that guaranteed their ability to remain in the country as long as they avoided serious trouble. While it has always been possible to lose permanent status, the authority to revoke it has now expanded significantly and can be triggered more easily than before. The most controversial element of this reform centers on driving under the influence. In the past, a DUI often resulted in fines, required classes, or temporary license restrictions depending on the state. Many people served their penalties and moved on, never imagining immigration consequences would follow them. Under the new law, a single DUI is now grounds for inadmissibility and automatic deportation for non-citizens. That term, inadmissible, is critical to understand. When someone is labeled inadmissible, the government has the authority to deny them entry into the country. This applies even if the person already lives in the United States. Someone can be stopped at the border after travel, or in some cases declared inadmissible without leaving the country at all. Under the reform, a DUI conviction, an admission, or even acknowledging the elements of the offense is enough to trigger that status. The language of the law is especially strict. It does not matter how individual states classify the offense. Some states treat DUI as a misdemeanor, others as a lesser charge, and some enforce harsher penalties. Under this reform, federal law overrides all state distinctions. Every DUI is treated the same for immigration purposes. Consider what that means in real life. Someone who has lived in the United States for 20 or 30 years, paid taxes, raised children, built a career, and contributed to their community could lose everything because of one mistake. Not just their green card, but also their ability to return to the country they call home. The reform offers no second chances in this area. What makes this even more alarming is how admissions are handled. Many immigrants do not realize that simply telling an officer or judge they had alcohol before driving can be considered an admission. Even acknowledging the basic elements of a DUI offense can be used against someone. As a result, thousands of people who never thought they were in danger could suddenly face serious immigration consequences. Lawmakers argue the goal of this policy is public safety. They believe strict enforcement will reduce dangerous behavior and protect lives. Whether or not you agree with that reasoning, this is now the legal reality, and it carries deep consequences for immigrant families. This reform is not only about punishment, it also introduces new opportunities. Congress has created updated processing systems, new immigration categories, and potential paths to work authorization for people who previously had none. For many families, this part of the law represents long overdue progress. However, these opportunities come with a firm requirement. Applicants must demonstrate good moral character. That standard has existed for years, but it has now tightened significantly. A DUI automatically disqualifies someone from being considered of good moral character. That means no citizenship applications, no renewals for certain benefits, and no access to the new programs introduced under this reform. The barrier is complete and can last for years. This is why experts are calling the law a turning point. It does not shut the door entirely, but it raises the standards in ways that will affect millions of people. For many long-term residents, it serves as a stark reminder that citizenship is the only true protection. Green cards offer security only up to a point, and that point has now shifted. The fact that this reform passed with bipartisan support sends a clear signal. Both parties support stricter enforcement alongside new legal pathways. It is a combination of hope and consequence. For immigrants, that balance can feel overwhelming. Fear and uncertainty are natural reactions, but understanding the law gives you power. If you are a green card holder, the message is simple. Be vigilant, follow the law carefully, avoid risky situations. Do not assume old rules still apply. The consequences have changed. If you have immigrant family members, make sure they understand this as well. Small mistakes now carry serious weight. If you have been delaying citizenship, now is the time to reconsider. Citizenship offers protections that no policy change can take away. It secures your future and shields you from the risks non-citizens now face. In the end, this reform is both a warning and an opportunity. It tightens enforcement while opening new doors. Understanding both sides is the key to navigating this new chapter in American immigration. I'll continue breaking down developments like this so you stay informed and prepared. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. And remember, I'm Michael Harris, and this is U.S. Pension Insight.